Good morning.
All those smiling faces.
We're at 64 degrees tomorrow, chance for some late day sunshine finally.
He's watching the news. How are we all doing today?
Good.
Give everybody another 60 seconds because I know everybody likes to be on time. Or not.
I'm here.
All right. Shamika, Jen, Laura, you going to join us?
Yes.
FaceTime with David means
Hold on.
right.
Here I am.
Awesome. How'd everybody do yesterday? Go home and take action on all those things that we covered yesterday?
I kind of missed it yesterday, but I did start some things.
Okay, excellent. Those that were with us yesterday, you just got some follow-up questions. I know I'm a good teacher and all, but I always have to assume some sort of questions to follow up on what we learned about yesterday. Right, today's going to be one of those days where I have to pull teeth to get people to talk, huh?
Well, I wasn't there yesterday, but I did print the stuff down, so I will do it. I'd started on the Excel spreadsheet. And I don't know what I do have questions on.
Well, you may have questions about anything, but right now let's kind of follow up from what we did yesterday so we don't go down into a rabbit hole of things we may cover today.
Okay.
So Jen, what you guys got?
I went through and did the stuff that we talked about yesterday and played around and didn't have any issues.
Hold on 1 second. Jen. There we go. Guys, if you're on or you got things going on in the background, please be sure to mute yourselves. Right. I do my best to try to keep everybody muted. If you're going to ask a question, I've no problems unmuting yourself. You know, the trick there is sometimes if you click on your screen and hold the space bar down, it will unmute you. In the moment you let go of the space bar, you'll go back to mute. That way we don't forget to mute ourselves. So Amy, go ahead. What were you were saying there before we got drowned out?
I just was going to say I played around with the stuff that we went over yesterday and didn't have any issues. Looked through the settings and things like that.
Awesome. I like to hear that you went back and took a look at some things.
I send my app to a few clients or a few of my on my database. So
That's what I'm looking to hear. You said so you went out and shared your app.
yes,
You saw how simple it was to actually do that.
yes.
Awesome. So who else took action and shared their app with some people yesterday? Because that was probably one of the bigger things we covered yesterday. In order for you to grow your business, you got to get your business in front of some other people, right?
Morning.
Good morning.
I had the time to share the app too with a couple of friends. More than 10 I did.
More than awesome. I love an overachiever.
Yes. And then one of my friends told me that she's like planning to buy for in the next like 6 months. So we're gonna meet up to talk about it too.
So look at that. You shared your app and it generated a lead. That's the intentionality of what we're doing, right? You've got to get out in front of your people.
Mhm.
Your people want you to succeed. Your people want to help you, just like you want to help them. But if you're what we call a secret agent, you're not James Bond, right? You don't be hiding in the shadows. You need to be out in front of this thing. You got to let people know what you do, right? And getting that mobile app literally is the simplest thing in your world to keep you as a point of contact for everybody going forward. So kudos and congratulations to you, Tatiana,
Thank you.
because that's what happens, right? That's how it's supposed to go. I'm going to bring up my account here in just a second. Oop, what happened there? Who else? Anybody else have any questions or follow up from yesterday's class? You should have all gotten an email from my assistant summarizing today.
I have a dumb question.
Dumb questions.
If
Questions are questions.
I know, but I guess I know I can look back at the video and I will look back. But when designing the website, I just want confirmation on which one is uploading my Connect profile and which one is loading up my website.
So your marketing profile will be all your consumer facing things. Website, mobile app, right? The agent to agent is only internal. That doesn't go anywhere else. Now we do have the command profile, which will push to your website, your mobile app, and then your profile from KW on KW.com, because we list all the agents by market center on there. We'll pull a little bit from the My KW profile that we did first yesterday, and your command profile. It kind of pulls a couple of things from both.
So just make sure it's all set up, essentially.
100%.
Yeah.
Make sure it's
Okay.
all set up, right? And not only that, right? Remember we talked about all those other websites or search platforms that you could have an account on, right? You want to set up those account profiles because your consumers are going to Google you first. They're not going to call you first. They're going to Google you first. Your friends and family may even look you up first. And that kind of brings up an important point of confirmation there. I want you to all be understanding this. Some of you have been in business a while, some of you are new, so you'll understand this and some of you won't, but that's okay. At some point in your life, in your career, somebody's going to do something in real estate without you, and it's going to hurt, and you're going to take it personally. Don't. Look, it is a learning experience, and ask yourself this: how did that happen? Why did it happen? It could be any myriad of reasons. One, first and foremost, typically what happens is that you weren't deliberate enough about your relationship, even with those that are closest to you. A lot of people out there think that when you're in real estate, that it's a hobby. They don't understand it's your profession or your career. So you have to be deliberate with those conversations about people so they know what you're doing, right? And you even have to work harder sometimes for those that are in your world. They want you to be successful, but sometimes they don't realize it, right? So always look internally if somebody does something without you. Don't write them off, okay? Have a conversation with them. Two, sometimes friends like to keep business associates that are friends separate. That's okay too. I've had friends that have flat out said, hey, we're selling our house, but we don't want to work with you. You're our friend and it's our finances and we want to keep that separate. I have no problem with it. Those same people refer me business, right? They refer me other people's business. They just didn't want our friends' relationship to be commingled with business. And it even can give even more finite that some people will be cool with you working on the buy side, but not on the sell side. You're never going to understand what goes through the mindset of a person when it comes to personal finances, other than don't take it personal. Always look at it as a learning experience, right? It's happened to me more than once. And some have been my fault. Some have been, well, I'll take the blame for all of them actually from a communication. Some of them is just lack of communication. Some of them is the assumption that they're going to do business with me. I didn't do my listing presentation the way that I should have. Right? I made assumptions about things. So I didn't show up prepared. Didn't answer all the questions they actually had. So learn from my experiences and others, because it doesn't just happen to me, that understand that at some point in your life that may happen to you, and always look at it as a learning experience. Does that sound good? All right. So today is day 2. We're going to talk about contacts today. We're going to talk about smart plans today. So contacts are the people that are in your world, okay? And I'm going to do something a little bit different today because I'm going to start off with an activity. So we're going to jump a little bit different, and I'm going to help you get some data because I always like to start with this exercise. And I want you guys to throw these numbers into chat. I'm going to ask you a question. How many contacts are currently in your command database? Just write the numbers in chat. Doesn't matter what they are. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Shamika. Thank you, Erica.
You have a farm, do you want that number too?
What's that?
If you have a farm, do you want to combine that with?
Well, right now I'm just asking what's in command, right?
Okay. Well, yeah, it's in command.
Okay. Anybody that's in command, awesome. Over 1,000, right? There's my achiever. She's been through school before, so she knows what's up. 98, excellent. Now, let me ask you this question. So those were all who's in your command database right now, right? How many contacts do you have in your phone?
Oh, gosh.
Did you know that actually if you scroll down to the bottom of your contacts list on your phone, you can actually see, it'll tell you how many contacts you have. How's that work for you, Amy? No slackers in my class. The numbers have gone up, right? There's a difference between the number of contacts you have in command and the number there in your phone. All right, let me ask you a third question. How many friends do you have on Facebook?
Couple of hundred.
Let's put them in chat. Now, let me ask you this question as you guys are putting those answers in the chat, and I appreciate you participating. Should there be a difference, or why would there be a difference between the number of contacts in command, your phone, or Facebook? And when I say Facebook, I just do that because most people have that. But whether it's Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat, wherever you've got a social media occurrence, LinkedIn, Twitter, followers, right? Should there, or why is there a difference in the number of contacts from those platforms to command? Why do you think? Now we open our
We
mics.
haven't loaded them in.
All right, well, that's
Connected them
that's
together.
obvious, right? We haven't loaded them in. That is obvious, but I want to go deeper than that. For a lot of people, it's mindset, right? So give me, why do you think, and I understand some of you just haven't done command yet, but why do you think you would have a different number, right? If I hadn't asked the question, would you have gone after those avenues, right? Be honest, right? To look at those social contacts, the phone contacts, your whatever former database, your wedding list, all those Excel spreadsheets that are taking up space in your hard drive somewhere because you had Christmas card lists and all those other things. Why would there be a difference what you put in your database and what might be on those other platforms?
Because some things you want to keep.
Go ahead.
Well, for me, some of my people, I don't want to put in Facebook or because it's a privacy issue for some of them.
What would be, all right, so let's talk deeper about that. What's the privacy issue? That they're in Facebook and not in your command, or vice versa?
Well, so I don't have some of them on either one
Okay.
because of their status. So, and they don't want to be put on Facebook or.
All right, so remember, I'm not talking about, they may not be on Facebook. Okay, I see what you're saying there. So they're not on Facebook, so they're not. But let's talk with the friends that you currently have that are on any platform. Why would you not put somebody in your database?
It's just easier to store them in your phone,
Easier to store them in your phone. Okay.
right? Because then it's the extra step of going into command and putting the information in.
Okay. Don't have all their information, not all local. Okay. What else is out there? None of these are wrong answers. They're all true because that's how people feel. But I'm going to debunk some of them here in a minute. But how we feel about things. Go ahead.
And one other thing is, like, I might have a lot of names and just a telephone number, but I don't have I don't have all the data that I need to have for them, like their email address or sometimes even their address, just because I just do everything with text and.
Sure. Okay. So you have some sort of contact. You've got the name. You've got
I got the name, the telephone number.
Have 4 different phone numbers and 4 different emails that we haven't even merged our contacts together in our phone, right?
Right.
That happens when we change phones. People change contact. Those are all true. But here, let's debunk some of those thoughts now. Okay. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people say, well, they're out of my area. And I'll tee off with that one. I think I saw that on the list somewhere. Somebody said that. Jen said, not local. Now, we talked about referrals yesterday, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So there are people that are in my area that I can represent to buy and sell, right? I think that's where you're going there, Jen. But then there are also people that we're in relationships with that are around the country, around the world, that will buy and sell at some point somewhere with somebody. Could I get a referral fee if I was proactive in that relationship?
Yes.
So shouldn't everybody I know have my mobile app and be able to search and reach out to me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's start there, right? A lot of people say, well, I have a lot of friends that are referrals or realtors. Okay. Do you have the ability to talk to realtors and have them join your organization or your market center and have them, and then maybe you participate in profit share because they joined KW? Right? Or maybe you need to do a cross transaction with them, right?
Right.
So most people end up in this mindset of, hey, I've got a couple hundred people that I know locally, or I may have just moved the area and I don't really know anybody. So referrals is a great way to build your business from start. Right? As you're growing your business, referrals might be the easiest way for you to get your first commission check. So don't overlook the people that aren't in your immediate sales area. Right? That's a shift for a lot of people. Fair?
Fair.
Now, the same thing goes with your phone, right? You all gave me a couple different reasons, incomplete information. Well, it's easier to call me from my phone, and that is all true, right? However, the reason you put things in your database is to systematize your business, right? If I just have them on my phone, I may randomly call people for whatever reason. If I put them into my data bank and I put them on a call plan and I deliberately call people once a quarter, or if I separate people in my database by priority of they're my top 100, my top 150, my top 300, or A's, B's, and C's if you're a Buffini person, right? You rank people based off priority. And the system can tell you when to call people. So you're more proactive in those relationships, right? That top 150, that top 300, you should talk to those people 4 times a year. Deliberately, consistently, systematically. You don't do that if you just have them on your phone because you forget when to call them or how you call them or what you called about. Also, if you call everybody that's on your phone, you may forget what you talked about, right? How often you hang up the phone and take notes and then remember what we talked about? You don't. Maybe you read it on a sticky note, but sticky notes get lost, right? Maybe you wrote it in pencil on the gray plate on your computer, right? Maybe you have a book where you write things down. They never make their way back to where they belong, which is in your data bank. So you have no idea what that last conversation was, even if it was last week. So you're not tracking those relationships. You don't know when the last time was you actually talked to somebody. Because you can actually filter that information inside of Command. When was the last time I talked to people? Who have I not talked to in the last 90 days? The only way you know that information if it's in Command. Kind of get where I'm going here?
Yes.
Right. So literally, because you now have the Command mobile app, which I showed you, if all those people that were in your phone are in Command, and I call them from Command, the system asks me when I call them. Did they answer? Did you leave a message? What did you talk about? My phone doesn't do that, does it?
No.
All right. Now, step 3, social media. People are like, well, I've got all these crazy people in my world that I'm friends and I follow. I get that, right? There's absolutely people that are, I don't want to offend anybody, the cat people of the world, right? That are out there that I laugh and they make me smile, but I may not have them in my data bank. However, the realness of it all, I've got about 1,700 people that I'm friends with on Facebook. It's not a massive number compared to what's out there. I would say about 1,100 of those, right, are either are or will be in my database because they're relationships that I've had with people over time. They might be friends or family. They might be where I lived. I lived in Pennsylvania, went to college out near Pittsburgh. I've lived in Virginia twice. I lived in Arizona for 14 years. I've worked at different resorts for Hilton. I've worked at different restaurants for Brinker, right? I've been with KW for a number of years. I've always maintained those relationships, and Facebook allowed me to do it, right? Because Facebook was my original database. That was my original database. I didn't realize it at the time, but Facebook was my original database for business because it allowed me to maintain relationships and stay on top of what's going on in people's lives and have conversations. So a lot of those people that are on Facebook probably should be in your database because you have a relationship with them that you probably could deliberately stay in touch with them, or at the minimum, maybe get them your mobile app and maybe talk to them once a year instead of 4 times a year because they live in California or whatever that is. So that's why I want you to open your minds to who you know, because this is a numbers game, right? You get that. It's a numbers game. If I have 10 best friends, okay, great. They're all going to buy a house once every 7 years. That's not going to sustain your business. Fair? But if you had 300 people that I'll call your advocates, right? 6 to 10% of your database that is going to do something, either buy, sell, or know somebody or make a referral to you. 6 to 10%. So if I had 300 people, now not just 300 contacts, but 300 relationships, right? That's a difference. Understand there's a difference between a lead, a contact, and a relationship. That's what we're talking about today. Getting in relationship with people. If I had 300, heck, if I had 150, you can go with that, of people that are your advocates, your killers, right? Are there people you're passionate about that have done good work for you in the past? Think about painters, cleaners, carpenters, landscapers, driveway people, former realtors. And the moment somebody says, hey, who do you know that does XYZ? You trip over yourself to try to recommend somebody because you had a good experience, right? You need 300 of those, or at a minimum 150 of those in your world. And they're not all going to be previous clients because some people just care about you, right? They care about what you do. So you have to harvest and nurture those relationships. And those relationships currently may be in your phone. They might be on Facebook, but from the numbers I'm looking, they may or may not yet be in command. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So who's got questions around that thought process? And the rest of you just need to turn your cameras on. I don't like looking at blank screens. Lilia, Shamika, Jen, Destiny, Stan, Erica.
Oh,
Yeah. Lilia, thank you. I know it's easy to hide in the shadows, but if you're hiding in the shadows on this call, that tells me you want to be a secret agent and you don't want me to call on you. I'll call on you anyway, so I don't care if your camera's on or not. I don't care if you're eating. What are you eating? Is it something good? Breakfast, coffee? All right. Bagels? Did you bring something to share with everybody?
Right.
And Alana, it looks like your camera is on but off at the same time. Just saying. All right. So mindset around your contacts, right? Get over yourself is really the mantra of what I want to come up with is just get over yourself and put them in your database. And that does look good. All right. So now I'm going to show you how to get those contacts from Facebook. This is going to be a little bonus session today. Okay. So here's what I want you all to do. I want you to log into your computers. You aren't already in your computers, but I want you to log into your computers. Okay. Bring something up on the screen here. Full screen. And I need you all to be in Chrome. Yes, even you Apple special people, I need you to be in Chrome, not Safari. Okay. All right. Now, is everybody on their computer and is everybody in Chrome?
Yes.
Some of you are scrambling. Well, we show up to class with the computers logged in and ready to go. You should know better than that by now, right? All right. So here's a little tool. Amy's laughing at me. You got Danny sitting in the background. She's listening and laughing, right? Yeah, I knew it. It's all good. All right. So on the upper right-hand side of Chrome, any page in Chrome, but you can see that I'm on Facebook. Okay. There are 3 dots. There are 3 dots in the upper right-hand side. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
All right. Click on the 3 dots. Okay.
Okay, wait, you're not sharing your screen, do you?
No, why not? Thank you for
No,
speaking.
you told us yesterday to tell you if you want.
Yes, because I tend to ramble on and not share when I should. There you go. Let's try that again. Everybody seeing my Facebook page? I'm actually on Facebook now. All right. So the upper, and it doesn't matter if you're on Facebook, but you're going to need to be logged into Facebook here in a minute. But 3 dots on the upper right-hand side on Chrome. Okay. Click on the 3 dots, go down to more tools. Okay.
Mhm.
Then you see the word extensions.
Yes.
Click on extensions. All right. You should land on this page. Now your page is going to look different than mine, but on the upper left-hand side, next to the word extensions, you're going to have 3 lines, look like a stack of papers, right? Click on that. And at the very bottom of that, it says Open Chrome Web Store.
Mhm.
Open Chrome Web Store. Okay. Now, ooh, tropical smoothie. I like that. Now you're going to be on the web store page. Is everybody with me? Awesome. In the search the store, I want you to type this in: FB space birthday. And then hit
FB space birthday.
FB space birthday, and then hit enter, and you're going to see your search results. You'll see this blue cake. It says birthday calendar exporter for Facebook. Do you all see that? Should be on your screen, not mine. Birthday calendar exporter for Facebook. Right? If you typed in FB space birthday and you hit enter, you would have gotten these list of extensions. Everybody with me?
Yes.
All right. Now, what I want you to know, I already have it, but for you, you should see the ability to click on it and download the extension. I want you to download that extension. It'll show up on your navigation bar.
So just click the extension.
So click on it, and then it'll say add to Chrome.
And click on it. Say add to Chrome. Oh, okay. Click on it, add to Chrome.
Okay. Everybody got that done? Give me thumbs up. Excellent. All right. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to Facebook. So go to your Facebook page. Okay. Got to make sure you're logged in your Facebook personal page. Now, on the right-hand side now, you may either see this little puzzle piece looking thing. Everybody see that on their far right of their, that's your Chrome extensions. That little puzzle piece looking thing. Upper right-hand side, it might be white, might be gray, but it's a extensions list. You all see that on your screen? Okay. Then what I want you to do is go down to the birthday calendar exporter and click on it. Okay. Now you should see a list. You should say start scan. You all see a start scan button that popped up in that box? Click on the start scan. And even if you get an error, it says December doesn't show, just bypass that. That's okay. All right, so you probably click the start scan button. And then once that's done, I want you to click on the calendar generator. It says a little down arrow. It says calendar generator towards the bottom of that little block. You all see that? Looks like this, calendar generator. Is everybody with me? Okay. Now, do you see this one where it says download dates of birth as CSV file?
I'm sorry, I'm still scanning.
Okay, give it a second. Depending on the number of contacts you have. Now, I've done this 10 times, right? So that's why. But if you had a lot of contacts, that may take a moment, and that's okay. But once that's done, scanning, click on the calendar generator. Okay. Download dates of birth as a CSV file. Okay. And then click on the word generate and download. Because what's going to happen is after you click generate and download, and I'll bring it up on the screen in a moment, it's going to open up an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, I'm caught back up. It worked.
So now you have this spreadsheet. And basically what it did is it went into your, not command, this is Facebook, went into Facebook and downloaded all of your friends. It gave you all of their profile pages. That's what this is here. And it gave you their birth dates.
Okay, so I got lost.
Well, it's recorded and this was a bonus material, so you can go back to it because I can't.
All right, I'll go back. No problem.
Fine. But I just want to show you that this is there. And I want you to think when you left class, it's something you got to go back and do. Okay.
Okay.
I have a quick question, David.
Yeah.
if the spreadsheet didn't auto-populate, does that mean I did something wrong? Or maybe it's just saved somewhere on my computer? I have an app, I have an Apple.
Yeah, so it may or may not have opened up in numbers, right? But you want it to be in Excel. Numbers always doesn't play nice in the business world. So you might have to go back and kind of look at that spreadsheet and try to make sure. Do you have Excel? Do you have Office on your computer?
I don't,
Um,
but I will. It's a new computer.
got it.
Um,
It works best, again, it works best with Excel and not numbers.
Okay.
But so what happens is when you get that Excel spreadsheet, you're going to have a list of contacts. Okay. Everybody in Facebook. Now, not everybody on Facebook puts their birth dates out there. Okay. And not everybody on Facebook puts the correct birthday out there. But here's what I'm going to tell you that's true. Most of the birthdays are going to be accurate. Do you know why? Does anybody have an idea why most of the birthdays are going to be accurate in Facebook? Take a guess.
They have to give their birthday when they sign up, don't they?
No, actually, they do not. They do not.
You don't.
It's actually not as complicated as you think. Most people are like me and they're vain, which means they want people to say happy birthday on their Facebook wall.
I was gonna say that. I didn't think it was right.
100% true. FOMO, right? FOMO is real. Who knows what FOMO is?
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out, right? The first year, I'm going to date myself. I got Facebook in 2007. It seems like a generation ago. For some of you, that is. And I didn't put my birthday in my first year. My second year, damn right, put my birthday in there because people weren't saying happy birthday to me. And I want to have more people say happy birthday to me than anybody else. I'm vain. So it's true. So trust but verify. It's there, right? You don't want to say, if it's somebody that you haphazardly have a relationship with, wait till that day comes around to verify if it's actually their birthday. Wait for their grandmother to jump on their wall and say happy birthday because grandma doesn't even call them anymore. She just gets on Facebook, right? The reason I want you to have this information as we get into smart plans a little bit later is that with this information, right, you can take action. You can send birthday cards. You can make phone calls. You can post directly to Facebook, right? You can stand out from the noise. Yes, it's nice to be one of 700 people that said happy birthday to somebody, but you don't get recognized for that. But if you do something with this information, which is why I wanted you to have it, you can take action with that information. You can say happy birthday and you can put a card in the mail. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now, depending on how many you downloaded, you now have a jump start to like 1,000 people to add to command, right? Now, the difference is this just has their names and their Facebook profiles and their birth dates. You know, these birth dates, you're going to have to merge these cells to be so that they marry because Facebook will only input one row. So you're going to have to kind of marry them together. So there's a little bit of work to do here, but the work is worth, the juice is worth the squeeze is what they say, right? Data, artificial intelligence is valuable information. That's why we went back to what we talked about yesterday about all these companies buying our partners because they want the data. That's what they want. All right, so we're now going to jump into command, but I wanted to give you this information up front to show you the value of having information from Facebook and what you can do with it, and you can use it as a starting point to build your database. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. You all knew that this existed already, right? You all knew you could do this? Yeah, I'm being facetious.
How many you last time?
Oh, if you were in class last time, that's fair. All right.
So David, how long before the recordings come out? Because I wasn't there yesterday.
Usually within 48 hours.
That's good.
Usually within 48 hours, and we'll have those up on the YouTube channel. All right, so now let's go into command. Everybody log into command. Okay, we're going to jump right into contacts now, which is our second widget. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is another actionable item because you need to know, and again, some of you have been through this before, but you'll get a little bit more detail. For those of you that are new, you need to know how to enter contacts. Right? There's a couple different ways to do contacts, and we'll cover some of the most fundamental reasons or fundamental ways to do it in today's class. And I'll give you some ways to do more advanced features that you can look at for after class. So is everybody inside of Command and is everybody in their contacts?
Yes.
Excellent. Moving on. On the upper right-hand side, if you need to minimize the picture of my smiling face, right, go ahead and do it, because the add contact button is in the upper right-hand side. Do you see that? Say yes.
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 There you go. So go ahead and click the add contact button. You're going to get a fill in the blank. And what I want you to do is I want you to add a contact. Now, you don't have to be 100% of the data right now, but I want you to go through the process. And if usually what I say is do yourself, put yourself in, or significant other, family, whatever, put that in right now. I want you to start filling in these blocks, and I'm going to talk you through what's important. Well, it's all important, but I'm going to talk you through what happens. Okay. Their name is their name. That's straightforward and simple. If they're married, you can add a relationship, right? You can add that spouse, and there's like 23 other options here to connect people. Okay. I usually put a spouse or significant other here at the top, and then I can add them to Command too. Okay. Put their email, their phone number, straightforward, whether it's personal, mobile, work, or other, take advantage of that. Then there's a lead source type. Okay. Lead source is where, where did I get this person from? Right. Most of you, that's going to be like SOI, right, which is a sphere of relationship, sphere of influence. I can't talk, but it might be, if there are other agents, it might have been an agent relationship. You'll see a lot of other marketing companies that are in here that you will use over time, possibly door knocking, but SOI is going to be Facebook lead generation, for sale by owners, contact forms. If you're new to the business, none of this is really going to make any sense to you, right? Open house might be another one. You might have met them at an open house, right? Which is an event, but most of it's going to be SOI because they're your friends and family at this point. The other option is select from contacts. Now, when your people
-4.
When your people refer you people, right, you can connect to them like a referral tree inside of Command. So if I added this new person and I said that they came to me from my son Connor, and Connor's in my database, I can connect those two people together as a referral source. Okay, so that's the difference between selecting from lists, where they might just be an SOI, which is pretty much all your Facebook people, right? Or if, hey, somebody said, hey, Amy calls me, says, David, hey, you need to talk to Joe out in Ashburn. He needs to buy a house. Here's his contact information. Then I can connect it and say, Amy made that connection for me. That's contact lead. Now it says, do I want to mark it as a lead? Okay, that's a checkbox. What Command is asking you here is not, are they doing and buying a sale? Most people think of the word lead to mean they're going to purchase something or sell something. So therefore it's a transactional lead. That's not what Command is asking you here. Okay. We call those transactional based tracking opportunities. We'll cover those later, right? That'll be a Thursday's class. But a lead inside of Command, of marking somebody a lead, is very, very simple definition. Do you know this person? Do they know you? Right? Have you had a one-way conversation or a two-way conversation? Because if you've had a one-way conversation, which means somehow you got their information, name, phone number, email address, you don't know what they're looking for, and they don't really know who you are yet or what you can do for them. That's a lead. They may need to do something. Somebody said I needed to reach out to them, or maybe they reached out to me, but we just still haven't talked yet. That's a lead, right? It's just a filterable check mark in your database. Now, the moment that you connect with this person and you have a conversation with them about buying, selling, investing, or getting a referral through real estate, whether it's this week, this month, this year, 12 months, 18 months, 24 years down the road, once you establish a relationship of they have a need, I can fill that need, but now a contact. That's the difference between lead and contact. Is that clear? Clear as mud?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Tags. We're going to talk about tags a little bit more detail in a minute, but you're going to want to build tags in your database. Tags are something of what do I have common? Hold on one second. Somebody is open mic. I'm going to mute everybody again. What do this person and anybody else in my database, including myself, have in common? Right? Because I want to be able to filter people. Are they a past client? Are they a current client? Are they going to buy or are they going to sell? Those things that are already in the system. Like KW provides those for you, right? Like if I type bought, that means they previously bought something from me, right? If I type in sold, and you'll see these things already available for you, that means I sold them something, right? Past client, right? Vendors in there, it's a default option. Realtor, allied resource, agent, right, is there. Those are default things that are in your system, but you're going to be able to build your own tagging system. Okay. So here's what I want you to think about. And this will be one of your action steps coming out of today. If you're in a PC program, your PC coach, they're going to talk to you about what's called the DTD2, which is calling people through your database simply alphabetically, right? A and W, right, is an option. B and E. So you're categorizing, you'll have 13 tags in your database based on the alphabet. There's a specific list of how they're married together. There's an algorithm, A and W, B and E. And if you tag people by their alphabet, then I can put on quarterly call plans so that I know once a quarter I call people based off of their last name. System digitizes it. Your PC coach will kind of get you down in that path. If you don't have a PC coach, talk to your market center tech trainer. They can kind of put you in on that task. The other thing that I want you to think about, and you'll see like I have BRHS hockey, your world revolves around kids if you have them, right? Or your social life if you have one, right? I have kids, not much of a social life. So most of the people I've met over the last 16 years are through my kids. Hockey, Little League, soccer, PTA, church, right? Organizations, Little League, baseball, hockey, travel. So I put all those people, I tag all those people in my database above and beyond past clients bought and sold. So I build all those lists. So I want you to write a list of where do you know people? Was it high school? What high school did you go to? Was it your graduating class? Was it college? What college did you go to? What was your graduating class? Previous places of employment. Where did you work last? Where did you live last? Right? I mentioned to you that I lived in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and Arizona. So I have people tagged by that. I have people by my previous places of employment. I have all my hockey families separated by hockey program, right? Because I can filter and I can run advertising around, let's just kind of think about this. If I knew everybody in my world that was through hockey that lived near the Ashburn hockey rink, and I had a listing that I thought would be interesting to people that wanted to live near the Ashburn hockey rink, I could take that list of people and advertise that listing specifically to that list of people. Can I get where I'm going here? Organization matters. Not just your contact information, but organization. So I'm going to show you how to build tags in a minute, but I want you to have an understanding that I want you to start thinking through what tags are in your world. Sound good? All right, the bottom of that says add more information. So let's go ahead and do that. Now you'll see add additional confirmation or contact information, right? So if you have additional phone numbers and emails, you can add them here. How does that client like to be contacted? Email, phone, text, or not contacted at all? It's just for your peace of mind, knowing how you want to talk to these people. Address. Addresses are important. Okay, so when you put an address in for the person that you're importing in right now, I want you to put your home address or their home address or a address. Addresses are important, okay? So when you start typing in an address, you're going to see a Google list of addresses. I want you to select that address from this list because it's going to pin it to a map. All the address will be there unless it's brand new construction that hasn't had an address on Google yet. Okay. Then you can type the address in and it'll say add as a custom email address. Or like it says here, create manually. I don't want you to create manually. 99% of the addresses are going to be available to you. I want you to select it from a list. Okay. Then social media profiles, right? Facebook is an option, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google, Snapchat, House, Linked, right? They're there. They're still catching up on some of the other platforms, but we're going to, like, even MySpace is there, which I think is hysterical. You want to put your social media connections there, right? I think there's even an other in there, so you can put like TikTok, like an URL or something like that. And that's just a matter of adding additional ones. Okay, so that's social media. Next, under about, birthday, on anniversary, and other relationships, right? If you put the spouse at the top or significant other, that's fine. But down here, you can add other relationships, right? Remember, I told you it was like 23 different options. Now, at the moment, they'll be linked together, but you can't run a report or anything, but we're kind of going down that direction. We will be able to create either a referral tree or a family tree. It's just not there yet, but we're going. Birthdays and home anniversaries are important because you can run smart plans, right? We're going to talk about that here in the next hour. But smart plans, right? If I add somebody's birthday, which we just exported all those birth dates from Facebook, then I put them on a Facebook, on a birthday follow-up plan. Then my system is going to say, hey, Amy's birthday is in 6 days. Go out and get Amy a card. So I reach into my little box over here. Right. I pull up my birthday cards. See, just so I have them, right? It's a little Peanuts birthday card. And I stick it in the mail because I know Amy's birthday, because I just exported off Facebook. And that separates me from everybody else. So that's step one. It'll wait 4 days. It'll say, tomorrow's Amy's birthday. Call Amy. So I'll call Amy, say happy birthday. Now, look, if you're not in a relationship with the person to call them yet, because it might be weird, right? If I all of a sudden call Tatiana out of the blue, say, hey, happy birthday. She might be like, who is this weirdo? Like, and that's legit. But if you got a relationship and it makes sense to stick a card in the mail and call them, then do so. Or even if it's a little awkward, it's okay, right? Take advantage of what the system is giving you to do. Same with the home anniversary, right? Home anniversary. Now, let me ask you this. If I sold you your house, I have your home anniversary date, and that makes sense for me to follow up with you, right? If I didn't represent you in the sale of your house, should I put your home anniversary date in my system?
Yes,
Why?
it's so you know that how long they've been there and when they're about ready to buy a new house, because it turns over like every 7 to 10 years.
Somebody give her a gold star. Absolutely. We know the buying curve for most people is 3 to 7 years. I think we're going to see an adjustment of that based off of low interest rates that we just come through. I think that'll go to more of a 5-10 versus 3 to 7. But yes, absolutely. You want to know people when they bought their house, whether you represented them or not, because life happens. And if you get deliberate in that relationship from whenever you meet them going forward, you could become the person that represents them the next time. Because here are the numbers. Anthony, what are the numbers? Thanks for joining us. What are the numbers of people say that I'm going to use my realtor the very next time I buy something? You're muted.
Yeah, it's like way up there, like 98%.
It's
But then
89.
only about 30% wind up using them because the other people fell out of the business.
Yeah, remind me not to call you again. It's 89% and 12.
I was close. I was
89%.
over 50.
And you're right. We're doing good.
89 and 12. I'm gonna write this one down. 89 and 12.
89% of the people say that I will use my realtor again when they
Yes.
close at the closing table. 12% actually do. That's a dramatic difference, right?
Big.
Now, yes, sometimes they've moved or outside the area. I get that. But the bigger reason is this, is what Laura says. The agents treated them as a transaction and they didn't stay in relationship with them. Your follow-up matters, right? Talking to them and being in communication with them. And this sounds like a big number, but it's really not. 36 times a year is what the number says that you need to be in front of somebody for them to be an advocate of yours. Remember, we started talking about advocates from the top. And believe it or not, the people that are your core 150 to 300, you'll probably commute with them closer to 50 or more times a year, just through social media alone, right? So don't underestimate the fact that how you communicate matters through phone calls, text messages, social media, birthday cards, anniversary cards, pop-bys, magazines, happy birthday or the kid's birthday or graduation or life event. Those things add up very, very quickly. So following up matters. So great answer there, Laura. Perfect example that I had somebody through hockey that I met on a new to a team that my son was on. Now, they were under contract to buy a house when I met them. They closed on the house. I didn't represent them. I sent them a congratulations card. I gave them my mobile app so they could stay up to date and watch what's going on in their community. Right? I started getting a relationship with them. 6 months later, from buying her house, she was a single mom. Okay, she got pregnant. She bought a 3-bedroom townhouse. She got married. So now she had 3 kids of her own. She was like a modern day Brady Bunch. She got married. He had. So do you think that townhouse that they bought 6 months ago was a little small?
Yes.
Yes. So over the next 9 months, we worked to find them a new home. He sold his house with me. She rented her townhouse with me. They bought a new house out near Leesburg with me, not the person that she bought the house from 6 months prior.
Sweet.
Right? That's fact. That's true. That's because I understood the numbers and I knew it didn't matter that she bought through somebody else. My relationship with her started on day one and I got deliberate. I try to do that with everybody. Can't do it with everybody, but you do it with everybody you can. Make sense?
Yes.
Those things happen. You know what happens when you assume? Like if I had assumed, oh, she's buying her house and I didn't do anything other than have small chat around hockey, none of that would have happened for me, right? Don't ever assume. You all know what assume means, right? My dad's favorite. Makes an ass out of you and me, right? Don't ever assume. All right. Now, below these relationships, put in where they work. Okay. And then at the bottom of that is custom. I'm going to show you how to build custom questions here in a second. Right. Custom questions are above and beyond. These are relationship questions, right? Because you get into relationships with people. You'll find that you ask people the same types of questions over time. Command asks you the basics: birthdays, emails, home anniversaries, all that is in the system. But above and beyond that, there are things that you should probably know or that you will learn to ask through listening to other people or your PC coaches, right? And here are 3 that I have on my screen that you're going to build in your system here right now. Do they own or lease? Should you know the answer to that to everybody in your database? Should you know every single person, do they own or do they lease?
Yes.
You're darn right. Do you think all agents know the answer to that question about everybody in their database?
No,
No. You know why?
didn't ask.
They didn't come to my class. What is their hometown, right? Because we're talking about relationships. It is important to know where people are from, right? We look down on people because they were from DC and they're Redskins fans, or we look down on people because they're from Pittsburgh and they lost to the Jets last week. No, I'm just kidding. We don't do that. Is that bad? Brian, are you wearing an Eagles hat? Oh, okay. Look green.
I'm a Commanders fan.
Sorry. Carson Wentz was almost my neighbor, which would have been really funny because he would have been living 2 doors away from me. And he'd have been surrounded on all 4 sides by Eagles fans. Like that would have been hysterical.
Hey, at least you chose to live here.
Well, I chose to live here, yes, but I still root for my boys. And look, the Commanders ever get rid of Daniel Snyder, it might be something different. But anyways, we want to know where people are from. So we're talking about this in Smart Plans and where do they want to retire? Because you want to get in relationships with people, but also you want to help them visualize and stay in relationship with you. And these 3 questions will help. And yes, Alana, these questions are not provided for you. You do have to add them, and we're going to do that next. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So that is your one at a time how I add something in my database. Okay. So I'm going to cancel out of that. But I want you guys to hit save for the person who just answered it. Okay. Now, I told you that you could add tags and you can add custom questions. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. You ready? On the upper right-hand side, okay, I want you to go to the drop down for your name. Okay. I want you to go to settings. And then we're going to scroll over here to the left-hand side. You're going to go to command settings, contacts. And I'll pause here because I've been a lot of clicks and some of you guys are like, wait. Go to your name, go to settings, go to the left, go to command settings, and go to contacts. Is everybody with me? Awesome. Okay. So click on contact tags. Y'all see that? Contact tags. Go ahead and click on that. You're going to see a list of contact tags that are system provided tags, right? Agent, allied resources, bot, associate, right? Or not associate, those are mine. And you'll see some on my screen, I'll say I have mine that are created. So you all see your system tags are already in there? Okay. Now the question is, notice what I do want you to notice, those are all white. You all see that? So when we create tags, I don't want you to use white color scheme. I want you to use different color scheme. Now on the upper right-hand side, it says create tag. You see that? And when everybody hit create tag. Okay, right? Okay. Anthony gets it. All right. So what I want you to do is build a tag. So I want you to think of, okay, what do I need in my database? Right? Where'd you go to college? Right? I went to IUP. So IUP is a tag of mine. I have IUP 9 or I have IUP 96 because that was my graduating class. I have JHS, which was Jenkintown High School. I have JHS 90, which was my graduating class, right? I have FLW, which was Fort Leonard Wood, where I went to basic training. So I want you to build out tags. I also mentioned hockey. I have ice hockey. I have Little League. I have soccer. Think of all the tags in your world and just kind of build a couple. Amy, what is so funny? You laughing at me? I'm not that funny. Okay.
Trying to get tags from Danny. I'm laughing at her.
Oh, okay. She has inappropriate tags. That's what I'm guessing. She's making you laugh that hard. So build these tags and apply colors to them, right? So don't use white because all the system tags are white. So use other colors. And just build a couple. Remember I talked to you about the A and W, right? Those are your daily 2 tags. That's a good one to do. A and W, B and E. I can't name them all, but I have them on my database. You'll see A and W, B and E. You notice that mine are all black, right? For those. I keep similar colors, similar schemes together. That's how I use colors. I use colors as almost like a secondary filter. Hockey. Ashburn Village is my farm, right? If you're a Buffini person, how many Buffini people on here? A's, B's, and C's, right? B contact, A contact, C contact. Build your Buffini tags. D contacts, right? I've got dummy stuff in there. I've got, because I've got a lot of agents here. I've got their companies in here. IEP, like I said, my college was in there, my high school, my fraternity. You learn all kinds of stuff about me. All kinds of different KW positions because I got a lot of leadership in here. Team leaders, top 100. So there's nothing wrong for you to add as a tag. There's no wrong answer on a tag. Here's what I would challenge you to do. Don't go too small. Maybe say, hey, draw a line somewhere. Do I have 10 people that would fit into this category? That's kind of what I do. If I have 10 people that fit into a category, I make that a tag. Questions around tags? Pretty simple, right? I challenge you this though. Pencil them out first. Write them all out. I still like to write things out, even though I'm a tech guy, right? I still like to write them out first because that keeps myself clean. I don't want to have duplicates, right? Because if I said church, right, and then I had Presbyterian Church of Alney, they're the same thing. And I've got 2 tags and people end up with 2 different buckets and not tagged the same way. So keep consistent in your organizational structure. And also in here, yeah, that's kind of what I say. Just keep organized, right? Oh, I just want to say that you could actually create multiple tags of the same thing. So I created a seller tag with a lowercase s, and the system already had a seller tag with a capital S. So it doesn't recognize similar things. So keep yourself organized. And if you make a mistake, you can always click the editing pencil to change the name or change the color, or you could trash them. Okay. Now you can't trash tags if contacts are tagged with that tag, just so you know. So you would have to remove them first, and we'll show you that. All right. Any questions on contact tags? Straightforward, simple, right?
Yes.
Awesome. And remember, obviously the answer is true. People would have multiple tags, right? They could be an A contact, they could be an A and W call list, they could be a past client, and they could be sold, right? So people will have multiple tags. All right, so below tags on the left-hand side, okay, is custom fields. So setting up custom fields is similar to tags. I'm all. All right, so all join me on the custom fields page. You all there?
Yes.
All right. Now you won't have any default custom fields, so they don't exist. Okay, so what you see on my screen are ones that I have built. So you're going to build a couple right now, like I talked about, that were showing up on my custom page, right? So the first one you're going to build is, do they own or lease? Right? You're going to build this. Do they own or lease? So on the upper right-hand side, create custom field. And then under that custom field name, you literally will type in, do they own or lease? Okay. Raise your hand when you all got that in play. Right below that, it says custom field type. Now, as I mentioned earlier, organization is key. Okay. The custom field type is basically how are you going to provide the answer, right? There's a field and there's an area and there's a character difference, and I don't know what it is. There's a drop down, there's a date, there's a checkbox, there's a number, there's a URL, there's a percentage, and there's currency. All right. I don't like using text field or text area unless I absolutely have to, right? What are the children's names? I have to have a text box for that, right? I can't have all the names in a Dropbox. So I think about the questions that I ask on a regular basis, or like, where are they from? It has to be a text box. But do they own or do they lease? I don't want to have the ability, because I want to be, the reason I'm telling you is I want you to be able to search for these answers, right? If I put, do they own or lease, and I make it a text box, my answer could change every time. They own, they rent, they live in their parents' basement, they live in a van down by the river, right? They live on a houseboat, right? They rent from their brother. Too much information doesn't do me any good. Own or lease tells me exactly what I need to know. So I do that as a drop down. So click drop down, type own in drop down box 1, then add a Dropbox option, right? Lease. Okay. And then I want you, for this question, I want you to check the box that says make this custom field default. And I'll explain you the difference here in a second. And then click create. Okay. So you should all see that now on your list as a default question. Do you all see that? Okay. I want you to go in and I want you to add another one now. Okay. Let's go ahead. Click on custom field. Type in children names. Now that one, I'm going to leave that as a text area. Okay. And I'm not going to make it a custom default field. And then I'll click create. Okay. Now here's just some other examples. If you want to practice, you want to build a couple, right? I also told you that here's some questions you should ask, right? You should say, what is, right, what is your hometown? That would have to be a text box. Would you like to retire? Right? That would also have to be a text box. Then you can have fun questions, right? favorite football team, favorite baseball team, favorite soccer team, right? Where do they go to college? Or their favorite college team? Do they like college basketball? Anything you may ask people and anything you ask multiple people, make it a question. Who's your favorite superhero, right? Here's one for my Falls Church people. What is their pie choice, right? We do pies for Thanksgiving, right? So if I said, what is their pie choice? Okay, and I do that as a drop down, and I'll do pumpkin. Right, I'll do apple. And do pecan. Right. Again, I'm not going to make that a custom. So that's, I give pies on Thanksgiving to previous clients or people that refer me business. So I track that, right? It's not something I could give everybody in my database. So you can kind of see where questions could come into play. Did you guys all build those ones that I just talked about? All right, so now what I want you to do is go back to your contact list. Okay. I want you to go to the contact that you just added, or any contact, it really doesn't matter at this point. Okay. And I want you to open up their contact card. Okay. So I want you on their contact screen. You'll see their health score is 92. That means I've got their name, their address, a birthday, or social media. Like I'm almost at 100%, but I tagged them. He's missing his birthday. I know I don't have that in here. Then you'll see the address because I pinned an address. Remember I told you to type in an address and select it from the list. So then you'll see a map with an address pinned in it. We'll talk to that about smart plans in a moment. Their address, their phone number, their social media pages are there, right? If you linked up their social media pages, that'll show up. Birthday, right? Answer to my default questions. Do they own or lease? What's their pie choice, right? What are their names, right? That all shows up on those cards if you've answered them. Now, when you go into the editing pencil, okay, for that contact that you just put in or any contact, and you go down to add more information, go down to the custom area, you'll see those questions that you just built. Now, the default question will be there. Do they own or do they lease? Do you see it? You can now answer that because default means it shows up on every contact card, okay? If I did not make it a default question, I could still add it, right? So I can go down to add custom field and I could search for the questions that I built. Because not all questions apply to everybody. Not all questions are default questions. So I have a database of questions that are default, okay? And then I have questions that I ask some people some of the time. That is the difference between custom and default. So questions around adding a contact manually and answering all that information and adding contact tags or adding custom questions. Go ahead, Anthony. If you click on your screen and hit your space.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. So in the field where we're adding information on that person, it says add custom field. If I add a custom field, is that adding it for the whole database or just for them?
No, it's just added. So remember, default questions show up for everybody.
Got it. Okay.
Add a custom field allows me to see the other questions that I built.
Right.
And I can answer that question just for this contact card.
Got it. Okay.
Right? But once you, now the other thing is, say I wanted to, I don't like to go into this amount of detail, but I'll show you. If I add a custom field and I want to answer a new question, I could actually start typing in, oh no, that's not what I wanted, sorry. See, once I start typing a question, if that question doesn't already exist, I can add it as a new question.
And that goes the system wide or just for that person?
Now that'll go system wide into the question list.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So again, but I try to, just like tags, I want you to think through your questions versus haphazardly creating questions, because you may
Sure.
be asking the same question. That's typically why I don't like to do it that way.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, not a problem. All right.
Can you can also delete the question if you don't want it in there, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, nothing's there in perpetuity, right? All right, so that's a contact card, right? The more information you can give somebody about somebody, the more in your relationship with them, right? We're in the relationship business. So the more you know about somebody, where they're from, where do they live, where are they going, what's their favorite sports team, right? Those are all valuable parts of your relationship for people, because you can help them and you can come from contribution and staying curiosity about different things about them. So keep adding details. Now, while we're on the contact card, I have this map. The map pins their address. If I've added an address, it pins them to the neighborhood where they live. Right? That's what I did here. I went in here, I gave them an address, Jenkintown, PA, which is up outside of Philadelphia. So it pinned them to a neighborhood where that address is. So if you added an address, you're seeing this right now. Okay. So that will lead us into talking about smart plans. Okay. On the left-hand side, fourth one down is smart plans. Please join me there. Now, I'm going to give you the most fundamental smart plan knowledge that you can start with, because they can get very advanced. And I'm not going to teach you how to build custom smart plans in today's class, but I'm going to show you where you can go look up the smart plans, and I'm going to help you actually turn on the basic smart plans to start with. Okay, we're going to do that now. So you're going to come to a list, and again, your screen is going to be blank unless you've added smart plans previously. Is everybody here?
Yes.
All right. So at the top of the screen, it says My Smart Plans and Library. Okay. My Smart Plans are you, the person, right? They're your smart plans, either custom created or copied and brought into your world, right? You've got to go to the library first to go get them. Okay. So click on the word library. And what you're going to see here are a series of smart plans that are available for you to use in your business. They're either KW created and curated, or they're created by other agents that are proud of what they've created, and they're sharing them with you. That's one of the great things about our company, is that you get to share the things that you've built. You say, hey, I've got a great kick butt open house follow-up smart plan, and I want everybody to know about it. So I shared it with everybody, right? You can do those things. So that's, you'll see featured, right? So somebody on the KW side goes through and says, here's a great plan for you to look at. So that's what you're seeing here is these features. Right below that, there are 10 KW provided smart plans, okay? And they are biweekly neighborhood nurture, 8x8, quarterly call plan, mid-term nurture, okay? Long-term nurture, birthday, monthly neighborhood nurture, and open house follow-up, and promote my app, as well as home anniversary. I'm going to have you download a couple of these right now. And here's what I want you to do first. I want you to download the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture by clicking the word add smart plan. Okay, I want you to click on the add smart plan, and it's going to rename it for you. It's going to want you to rename it my bi-weekly neighborhood nurture, because you have to create a copy of it. Okay. And you're going to bring it into your database. And then I want you to click the word download. Then I want you to download the quarterly call plan. Click on add smart plan. It'll say my quarterly smart plan. Click the word download. All right. I want you to go over to birthday and download the birthday smart plan, and my birthday and download. Now you can come back later and grab the rest of these. I just want to get you guys started. Okay. The other list of 1,700 smart plans that are in here are the agent curated smart plans. You'll see there's holidays, right? This Jordan Devlin is going in and building out designs for holidays, right? You could search by, there's an October newsletter in here that I see Richard Reed has done. price drops. You could search by smart plan name. So I could say, hey, show me everything that is related to an open house. So I'll see all these different types of open house follow-ups that agents have created, right? Show me Facebook or follow-up, not Facebook, I'm just say follow-up campaigns. Follow up to whatever, I don't know. So what agents call them, right?
Facebook.
Right, Facebook. Close a business follow-up plan. I could also search by author. Like if I know somebody like Marty Miller, who creates good content and follow-up, I can look at what smart plans Marty Miller has created. Right. There's a Kimber Walton. Oh, jumped off the screen. Hold on.
I have a quick question. When I go to download it, it has a little like circle, it won't allow me to download. I've tried to change the name a couple times.
If it won't allow you to download, then it already exists in your personal smart plan.
Right.
Or you're on a team. Are you on a team, Brian?
No, but I haven't messed with this either, but I'll see if it's in my.
It might already be there.
I think it was pre-downloaded because mine.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's in mine. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and maybe Scott Leroy has gone to start pre-downloading some stuff, and I wasn't aware of that, but that's possible. Kimber Walton was the other person I like her stuff. Yeah, Kimber Walton. She does all kinds of great stuff, follow-ups, touch plans. She's somebody to kind of go in and take a look at. So there's just different ways I could filter. I could filter by stars. I could filter by the length. You know, give me agent rated results. Right, she's got this great touch plan. So that's the library. That can be overwhelming at first. That's why I just want to show you that it's there. But I like to start with the basics so you can get a start. Does that sound good? All right. So now you have a birthday plan. Let's just take a look at the birthday plan.
Birthday.
So you're going to see if I click on birthday, it'll show me what's in that plan. There's a touch task, there's a delay, there's a phone call, there's a delay, there's another touch task and a text. Well, what does all that mean? Well, if I come over to the editing pencil on the right-hand side, I can actually see the steps. Right. And what's cool about these steps is whether it's a call, a text, a task, right? The system tells me what to do. So in this first one, in this birthday campaign, the first thing to do is a task. Send a handwritten note. So the system is literally going to tell me to get a note in the mail, right? 6 days prior to the birthday. Okay. It's going to wait 4 days and it's going to say, call the contact and say, happy birthday. Okay. Then it's going to wait a day and then say, send a social media post. Now, I think 4 or 5 touches around a birthday is a little overkill. But if you did 2 of these things, you're separating yourselves from the pack, right? And then send them a text. So that's an example of a smart plan that's already ready to go. And all it's waiting to do for now is to add people, right? In order to add people, what do you have to have?
Name, phone number, email.
You're missing one important thing. If I'm going to add them to a birthday smart plan,
Birthday.
how do we start today's class?
Yeah.
We start
Downloading them from Facebook.
right. So there was a reason we did that, right? Downloading it from Facebook, so you have it. All right, so that's just an example of what they look like. You can go through that smart plan, the biweekly neighborhood. Some of these are editable, some of them are not. Like so, a biweekly neighborhood nurture, which we're gonna launch here in a minute. All right, is not an editable smart plan. All right, so let's take a look at biweekly neighborhood nurture. Let's look at the editing in here, editing pencil. And the reason it's not editable is because it's just sharing data. Right. All it's doing is every 14 days, is sending listing information around the address that I pinned to their contact card. That's what, and I'm going to show you what it looks like here in a second, but a monthly or biweekly neighborhood nurture is nothing for you to edit. It's just going to send them information around the address or the neighborhood that you connected on their contact card. Sound good?
Yes.
Nice and simple, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, there is a way to create your own smart plans. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it, but we're not going to spend much time talking about it because it's a little advanced for what I'm trying to get through today, but I just want you to know that it's there, okay? So on the upper right-hand side, you see the word create. So if you click the word create, it's going to ask you to name a smart plan. Just call it test for right now. Right? For people that have been in the business a while, there may be a way that you're used to doing things. And you say, hey, this is how I do it. Well, then you can build a way to do that, right? My goodness, how many tests? So you've done all these, right? All right. So now when I create my test, I'm going to see a list, a blank screen, right? Here's the name, perfect. And on the right-hand side are all the different things that I can do in an automated smart plan. I can create a task, which is a to-do something, right? I can tell it I want to make a phone call, okay? I could tell it I want to send an email. I could tell it I want to send a text. A delay is pause in between steps, a certain number of days, right? In between steps. Or I could actually tell it to fire off another smart plan. Okay, so and then as it runs its cycle, I can start all over again. It's reset. There's a couple of tips and rules here just so you get some clarity around what works and how things work. Let me just kind of walk you through some of these a little quick. So the first one I picked was an email, right? Or a task. I gotta buy a birthday card. Right, boom, boom, boom. Or maybe, you know, I want to get my birthday cards. And then maybe there's an Amazon link of where I buy my cards. Just an example, right? Next one is to send an email. Give it a name, that would be the subject. When you're sending an email that's text, you have mail merge, right? Hi, Jen. So it'll pull information from their contact cards. So it's defaulted every time. So I can run it over and over and over again. That's going to insert the data to make it sound like it's unique for me, right? And you'll see there's a list here. First name, last name, emails, birth, right? All those things are applied in there. Your name, whatever you want to apply. Most times you're just going to use their first name, right? Maybe your name. So it separates that in there. Type out whatever else you wanted to say. You've got your regular WYSIWYGs, right? Bold, indent, underline, paragraph, text, color, paragraph, and hyperlink. Right? Typical type of word processing stuff exists for me to create a message that goes out. Now, the other thing, we're going to cover this on tomorrow, is designs. Simple just means text. Design means I could send like a newsletter, right, or something that's formatted and has imagery to it. That's designs. We're going to cover that tomorrow. Text is text. You remember that I told you guys how to set up your Twilio accounts yesterday, your text messaging service? So if part of your smart plan communication involves sending a text message, this is what you would send, right? But first, if I text somebody, I let them know this is my business text message, right? That's always my first step if I'm going to incorporate something, messaging to somebody, right? You do also have the mail merges where I could say hi, instead of just saying hi, Jen, I would actually say hi, contact, right? So it pulls it for everybody and sends it in. I'm not going to worry about explaining dynamic right now, and we'll get to that in a later session. But that's it. That's building smart plans. I think it's best for you guys to start with the basic smart plans, look at copying smart plans that other agents have done, and then worry about curating custom smart plans. Because I think if you go down the custom smart plans first, you're going to lose a little ground. Start with the basics, start with the ones that I shared with you: birthday, home anniversary, birthday, biweekly neighborhood nurture. Sound good?
Yes.
Now, how do we add people to these plans? Good question, right? Actually, let me hear it. You actually have the ability from within the smart plan you create to hit this little button up here to add people. I don't like doing it this way. I'm going to show you a better way to do it. Okay, you can do it here, but this makes you do it 20 at a time. I don't like that functionality. I'm going to show you that you can actually add up to 500 people at a time, and we'll go that direction. So if you go to your contact list, okay, I'm going to discard my changes. There's the ability to do what are called bulk actions. Okay, so let's pretend some of these. So here's clients with addresses in my database. So if I'm setting somebody up on a biweekly or a monthly neighborhood nurture, I have to have an address, right?
Right.
Okay. So now I can select everybody that has an address, okay, by hitting this bulk check button here at the top. Okay. And as I said, you could actually do up to 500 at a time by changing this toggle over here on the right-hand side. Then I check them all. And then when I do that action, this box opens up. It shows me that I had the ability to take action with these multiple checkboxes. I can add to a smart plan. Okay. I can add to my biweekly neighborhood nurture. Okay. It'll say, hey, these people are missing emails. So great, I'll remove those people. And then it's going to ask me, do you want to start now? Do you want to start on a date? Or do you want to stagger over a number of days? So depending on the smart plan that I'm sending, or when I'm sending it, these will apply. For a biweekly neighborhood nurture, if I'm launching them, I usually just say, let's just go. And I'll start with a particular date. Some people are like, no, I like to start at the beginning of the month. Okay, your choice. The last one that I use, stagger over a couple of days. If I'm doing a quarterly call plan, right, and I've got 500 people in my database, I can't start them all on the same day, right? I have to think through this a little bit, right? So when I do, your PC coach will talk you through the daily twos, right? So go ask those questions. But when you're separating your database out over quarterly, what's best to do is separate them by those tags, right? And call just one tag set a week, A&Es or A&Ws, B&Es, whatever those look like. So I set up a quarterly call for my A&Ws, and I tell it that I wanted to do the quarterly call plan. So let's just bring this up and show you. Quarterly call plan. There we go. Stagger them to the point that I can only handle maybe making 10 calls a day. So this will say, okay, then on Monday, call these 10 people. On Tuesday, call these 10 people. On Wednesday, call these 10 people. Now, if I don't call the people on Monday, mark that I called them, then I'm going to have 20 people to call on Tuesday, right? So you have to kind of keep up with your task list, because these are going to show up on your phone, and your command mobile app says, call these people today. So you have to be systematized to saying, if I'm doing calls, how many am I willing to do on a particular day that apply to this call list? I know this gets a little complicated here, but understand this functionality is there, and this may take a second conversation for somebody to implement some of this, and that's okay, right? But think about it. If I have 1,000 people in my database and 200 of them are filtered into my A&W call list, that means their last name starts with A or W. Okay, maybe I have 50 of those. Okay, I put them up on a quarterly call plan. If I set the call plan to start now, that's going to tell me that on the 4th of every month, I need to call these 50 people. Well, I'm not going to call 50 people in a day, right? So I stagger them over 10 a day. It'll start on the 4th of every month. And then for the next 5 days, it'll tell me to call 10 people a day. That becomes much more manageable. Does that make sense? Who has questions on that? Somebody's got to have a question because I'm not good of an instructor. All right.
This may not be something that you want to cover today, but is there a way to see what the email looks like before you send it, as far as like what it actually previews?
Actually going to show you that right now.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I'm actually going to jump right into that. I just wanted to talk through the setup, the trigger, and now I'm actually going to give you that biweekly neighborhood nurture on steroids. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into a contact that has an address. Come on. And I'm going to tell you a little story because I like stories. Stories are impactful. So I have this address, right? So most times when you have an address for somebody, it's going to be an address of where they currently live, right? So if I set this contact up on a biweekly neighborhood nurture, I hit the preview button if you weren't following along there. Let me come back out here real quick. On the bottom right-hand side of the map, you have a preview. This is what it looks like on their side, right? So they'll receive an email from you. Oh, I love that. For activity in the neighborhood where they live based off of the map of the address that you gave. Okay. So every other week they'll get an email, and the email will have this link. This isn't the email. I don't have an example of what the actual form email looks like, but this is the result of the email. Okay. And it's got in that email list, it's got Jenkintown, which is where they live. And here's the activity in and around Jenkintown, and I can look at properties. Okay. But you'll see across the top here, I've got other neighborhoods. Okay. And what I've done here for this particular client, and actually it's reversed here. Ashburn Village is where they live here. Okay. Jenkintown is where they were from. So you remember I said or over time, you'll find out where their hometown was. Right. So if they live in Ashburn, but they're from Jenkintown. So I send them list of activity from their hometown. You like that, Amy, huh?
I do. Yeah, that's cool.
It is cool.
I'm
right?
I'm a military spouse. So that, I mean, that would be like very helpful because we go to like the same places.
Right.
They would love to know that. They would, you know, they're from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Like, yeah, what is happening down there?
Yeah.
Very good.
Nostalgia for a lot of people, right? It's an emotional connection. Most realtors that are in the business are sending these drip campaigns saying, here's the value of the house, or here's the activity of the neighborhood. That doesn't set you apart from anybody, right? People get them in their mailbox, they get them in their email, they get them on postcards or in magazines, whatever. What I'm teaching you now is to take this and be purposeful and to get in relationship with the people that you have in your database. That's what I'm trying to talk to you about now. So you know where they live, boom, you can set that up. But in that same email, bi-weekly or monthly, if you find out where they are from, their hometown, you add their hometown to that. Okay? So now they're getting nostalgia, where they're from and where they are. Then you take it further. Where would you like to retire? Well, I'd like to retire in Key West. So in one email, obviously, you know, maybe not if it's hurricane season, but you know, where I live, where I'm from, and where I'm going. You send this to consumers every other week. Is this something that they would unsubscribe from? No. Right?
And is the copy of this email already prepared for us? Is this something that we got to set up?
So this is already set up as long as you add the address to start, right? So it'll start with the original address. It'll pin them to the map, right? So
Yep.
on your contact card, you'll have this map. Now, when you find out that other information, what you need to do is go and add the additional neighborhoods
Oh, okay.
on that map. So what you do is you just click, all right, I've got Jacobtown in there already. So I can go in, I like to go into the map. So I'll just zoom in on the map. So I'll search for Gilbert. Easy. And I'll just jump to it on a map. Now, this map, the way that it looks at things is neighborhood driven. It's not zip code driven. It's not master plan community driven. It's not even city driven. So it looks a little funny when you zoom in, but I just use it to jump to it. Because we pull all of the neighborhoods from a company called Nextdoor, and Nextdoor's boundaries are created by the people that live in the said neighborhoods, and neighborhoods are not necessarily master plan communities, okay? And I just keep zooming in until I need to get to where I need to get to. Right, in this particular plot of Chandler, right? So if I go, let's come up, Elliott, Dobson Ranch, right? Dobson Ranch is a great little area. So you'll see Dobson Ranch West, Dobson Ranch East. Dobson Ranch is split into two neighborhoods. If I click on Dobson Ranch, now they're going to get the updates for Dobson Ranch. That's how I add additional neighborhoods.
Can you pick more than one area right there? Can you do west and east or only one? Oh, no, you did. Okay.
Absolutely, right? Because the neighborhoods may be smaller pockets of the bigger community that you're looking for. So you want to go in and update that. And the same goes for, right? When I showed you and they put in that address and I said Ashburn Village, right? And the system will even recommend other neighborhoods that border their neighborhood you're also added. So you have to know the neighborhoods, right? Because I would not, so again, around Alney, right? I wouldn't add Rising Sun. I know that's a separate Parker Logan. Like if you know now different cities are different. They're very neighborhood specific, right? If you're in DC, it's very neighborhood specific. The larger cities are more neighborhood specific. You get out into the burbs like Loudoun County, we're more master plan community specific, but for whatever reason, the people still split those up. We're not in control over that. So it takes a little bit of time to build these out, but they're incredibly, incredibly useful once you start sending them to people. I think you're starting to see that, right? Question, I saw a hand go up.
Yeah, is this can we do in command? Is there like a substitute for what we have through auto email and Bright? Something like that?
Yeah. You know about yeah. So
or just sends them regular listings as they come available?
Yeah, so that's a great question and a segue for, so first I want you to understand that.
Yeah, that's good.
This community map portion is not search, it's not filterable, right? I'm sending you all the listings in the neighborhood where you live, townhouse, right? Condo, single family, luxury, whatever. In that border, in that boundary, you're getting everything. It's not search, it's just an update, right? So it's general information. Now, if I want to set you up on a specific search, because you're buying, right? Right here on the contact card, same thing, all the way on the right-hand side, you see where it says Save Search? I click on that. Now I'll see Save Search is already created for this contact, but I can click Create Save Search, and it functions like an MLS search. Bedrooms, bathrooms, amenities, right? I could search by neighborhood, I could search by zip code, or I could I could actually draw on a map. This is not the bi-weekly neighborhood update. This is actually Save Search. This is different. Bedrooms, bathrooms, build, right? I can do all that. So let me just do a quick. All right. I would save it. And then it's going to ask me just like it does in MLS. So I want to send email notifications, or if I leave this turned off, where do you think it goes? If I don't send email notifications, where do you think the search would show up for the consumer?
Maybe
Their portal?
In their app?
the app. Yeah.
You're right. It shows up on their app. So it'll show
cool.
up on their app as a saved search that you provided to them. That'll just on their app. They won't receive an email notification.
That's beautiful.
Or their website. Now, if I turn on an email notification for them, I have the same options that I have in the MLS. Right. So it'll send an update within 30 minutes of it going live, right? Daily, weekly. So those are the options that you have to send emails for your consumers. Okay, so there's the general neighborhood watch or update that you're sending them out through a biweekly neighborhood nurture. There is Save Search, which is more specific. Maybe they're searching or want to be more deliberately aware of what's going on regularly in their neighborhood. The actually third option for search is called collections. So as a realtor, right? Now, if you've been in business the last 2 years, you didn't have to work real hard. Don't take it personally. We didn't, right? We put a sign in the yard. We got an update. We went out and wrote a contract. That was easy. But in a traditional market where we're buying and selling, we need to know what our consumers are looking for because a lot of times they don't know what they're looking for. So we know by finding out questions, right? And this will happen to you when you go out and you show them houses and you'll show them property A on the left side of the street, but you're not intending to show them property B because it doesn't meet their criteria, even though they're going to ask about property B when you get there. You know it doesn't work. Anyways, but you need to be able to specifically pick properties based off of what they're looking for. We call those collections. Okay. So the third way to send listings to people is on the left-hand side, all the way to the bottom of the widgets called consumer. Okay. Now inside of the consumer widget, you have the word collections at the top. You can build a collection for one of your clients. Now remember, collections are you picking the properties for them. It's not Save Search, so it doesn't update. Save Search is search. It's the easy button for notifying consumers of properties. Collections is you being deliberate, saying, hey, you know what, Anthony, these are the 5 properties based off of what you're looking for that I know meet the criteria that you're looking for. Okay, so you actually go into your system, you could draw a map around an area, right? Or zip code. Like I say, I need to be within 850 and 1250. And I need 4 6 bedrooms. Apply my filters. So there are 3 properties that meet that criteria, but maybe I determined that for whatever reason, 241 Irving Street just doesn't work for what I know that they're looking for. I literally check these 2 properties, create collection. Whatever I want to call it, created. And now I send it to a specific contact. Anyways. And then I would assign it and send it to the client. Now, this will show up on the, they won't receive an email from this. This shows up deliberately because it's making assumptions that you're engaged with this person and they're using your mobile app. So it's going to show up on their mobile app that here are specific properties that your realtor has chosen for you. So neighborhood search, general, save search, which is like MLS, and collections are your deliberately pointing out properties for your consumer, right? They shouldn't be coming to you with a list of properties from Zillow or Redfin. You should be going to them saying, these are the properties that meet your criteria based off of our buyer consultation and what you told me. And from the last time we went out, I got a better understanding of what you were looking for. You like that? Cool. Okay, so we covered smart plans. We covered contacts. We covered save search. We covered tags. We covered custom questions. Parwin, go ahead. You're muted.
So before we move on, I wanted to ask, what if I had some unsubscribe from the biweekly. So is that, do they not get those automatically or should I delete that? What's the step to take for that?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Okay, so some of the clients or some of the customers, they receive the biweekly smart plan. They are in the biweekly smart plan and they unsubscribe from receiving that.
Okay.
Is that automatically deleted or not deleted, but do they not get that biweekly report anymore or do I need to delete that?
No, if they unsubscribe, they will no longer receive it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that shows up on your contact card, right? And actually, Lisa, a good question. In your reports portal widget on the left-hand side. So when you send this biweekly number, they're even though they're going out on a smart plan, it's constitutively basically it's an email, right, that you're sending out. So you can actually see what emails have gone out from your system, right, to your database. Oh, not activity emails. Okay. How many emails were delivered? How many were undelivered? How many were opened? How many were clicked? Did anybody reply to those emails or did anybody unsubscribe? Right. And I could actually click on them and see who opened and what did they open? What were they looking at? Right. This first was a biweekly neighborhood nurture. My client Casey looked at that email. Right. So you can stay up to date on what's going on and who's unsubscribing. Now, I will tell you, if somebody unsubscribes from one of your emails, you might want to ask yourself, why did they unsubscribe? Right? Was I giving them valuable content? Remember, we started yesterday by saying only send things that you would want to send to yourself. Right? If I'm sending a biweekly neighborhood nurture and I'm not in relationship with the person and I'm just sending them information for where they currently live, there's not a lot of value there. Right? But if I gave them where they're from, where they are, and where they're going, they probably won't unsubscribe. And also, who is unsubscribing? Is it people that you're in relationship with, or is it just random people? Right? If it's somebody you're in relationship with, you might pick up the phone and say, hey, I noticed that you're unsubscribed from this notification. Would you like to get less of that? Was it not giving you what you're looking? You're trying to find out what that is about. Because sometimes people just have a case of the Mondays, right? I personally clean out my inbox and unsubscribe for a bunch of stuff every Monday. So maybe they accidentally unsubscribe from something that they truly want from you. So don't be afraid to ask the question. Why did you unsubscribe? If you're in a relationship with them, if it's somebody I don't really know that I had them on that trip, I'm probably not going to call them.
Okay.
Good question.
Thank you.
All right. Now let's see what I missed off of my slides for today.
I have a question before you leave there.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's probably because I wasn't at yesterday's meeting, but I don't see that database that you were just where you said unsubscribed. I didn't see that, but I did get this information, I guess, in the email yesterday. From yesterday's meeting?
You did see this report I'm just covering right now. We didn't cover
Yeah, delivery and engagement, right?
Right. So I just did. So if you click on reports on your left, right, and you go to email.
Okay, that's what I missed. All right.
Yeah, it's under email. And you just again, scroll across the top, activities, emails, text, they all track all that stuff. But it's good to know what's going on here. That's what, yeah. I'm glad you asked for clarity.
Yeah.
Let me, where did my, oh, here's something I do. When I talk about health score, remember I was telling you about, hey, your health score of your contact was 92%. Here's the breakdown for that, okay? Name, email, and cell are 20 percentage points apiece. That gets you to 60. If you add their address, that's another 20 points. That gets you to 80, okay? If you add a social connection, like Facebook, that gets you 4 percentage points. If you tag them, right, that gets you another 4 percentage points. If you add a custom, you add them to a smart plan, you add them to a biweekly, you have their birthday or biweekly neighborhood nurture, those are additional 4 points. That's how you work your way up on those custom tags or on that 100%. Sorry, can't talk. covered this, we covered that. Oh, here's, this is actually, I kind of talked you through, this should be an email you get today. This is last year's schedule, but it's got the daily 2 breakdowns for those of you that want to organize your database. A&W, B&E, D&O, HMV, C&K. I'll set, this will be on the email for today. And then you'll see what I do is you rotate them quarterly, right? So for in October, this was October last year, right? I started on the 14th and we called the A&Ws. And then the week of the 11th, we called the B&Es. Week of the 18th, we called the D&Os. So that's the daily 2 call schedule. And that just kind of rotates through the year. Now, if you end up with like 1,000 people in your database, you can't do a daily 2 schedule for 1,000 people. Keep that to your core advocates, right? Those are the people you should be calling once a quarter. Went over custom fields, went over. All right, I'm going to show that. One thing I didn't show you over the last 10 minutes is the bulk import. So if you remember in the beginning of the class, I said, hey, there's a couple of ways to import. You can do a manual import, right? You can do a bulk import, which is what most of you are going to do. Now, there's 2 ways to do a bulk import. You can use the bulk import list that's provided by KW, which is probably the best way for most of you. Now, part of that email I sent you yesterday, you got an Excel spreadsheet, right? That Excel spreadsheet maps to the fields inside a command. So if you fill out that import form, start with your Facebook list I gave you and copy and paste that data into your import form, right? That import form looks like this. If I download the template here, I can also do it on the screen. You'll see name, middle name, last name, birth date, home anniversary, addresses. Don't delete any of these columns, even if you don't fill anything out, because it maps appropriately. The tags, once you build your tags, you can actually put the tags here on this import form so they're tagged automatically when they come into the system. You can add notes about a contact. If they're a previous contact, you can put up to 2,500 characters of notes in the field. You can put their social media links, so they'll be automatically added to the contact card. And you know, that's the KW import form. Give this as much information as you can to start and organize. It makes your life a lot easier. Okay. If you're importing from another system, right? If you have a CSV file that's already formatted, you can actually drag and drop that here, right? And it'll ask you to map up it. So either if you use the KW provided import form, it'll map everything seamlessly. If you use another CSV file from another system and you load that here, it'll ask you to map the fields up and say, hey, we recognize name, we recognize last name. Are these mapping correct? And you say yes, and you can walk all the way through that. The third option, okay, and this is, if you're going to go this route, I would like you to talk to your Mark Center Tech Trainer. But in the marketplace, we have things that are called syncs. So we sync to other platforms through our open API. And for most of you, where you would utilize this, what's going on there?
That's what I got when I tried to sync.
All right, here we go, marketplace. So inside of marketplace, I want you to look up API Nation. So API Nation, okay, connects our command platform with other third-party platforms. Now, for most of you, you're not going to need this. Where this will come in handy are certain teams that are using other platforms. We can pull and search that data. And for the individual agents, where it does come in a little handy, I'm going to search for people. So you could take your Google contacts and zap them into command. Now, this is a third-party integration, okay? And it will charge you $10 a month to have this up and running. But for some people, it's worthwhile. and the same goes for Apple. And what it does, it will take your Google contacts, right? And it'll take them from Google and put them in the command. And then every time you update a Google contact, it updates it in command. And every time you update that command contact, it updates it in Google, right? So if I update Erica's phone number inside of command and I have it synced to my Google account for my Google contacts, then her updated information. The reason I don't think this is uber necessary anymore for a lot of people is because once they're in your command database, you're going to have them on your command mobile, and that's where you're going to make your phone calls anyways. But it's up to you. I just wanted you to know that there is that additional layer that's provided to you. So you've got the command import form, you've got your CSV file that you may use from whatever system you're coming from, or you can connect on one of 15 different connections that are there, and they are a pay per play type of situation that actually goes to the other company, doesn't go to KW. If you're more interested in this API nation integration, you can, if you're confident, you can click through and start playing with it. And I recommend maybe you go talk to your Market Center tech trainer. Okay. Now, I did see that somebody asked about the import form, so I want to make sure you know where to get that from. Yes, it was in the email yesterday, but inside of command, it also lives, right? So if you're on your contacts card inside of command, on the right-hand side, you see where it says import? If you click on that import button, there's a green download template. That's what will allow you to download that Excel spreadsheet where you can build your contacts. You got that, Stan?
Yeah, I got it, David. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so with that, we got about 4 minutes left. I can answer any other questions based off of the content that we did today. Getting a little deeper now, right?
Yeah, for me, again, I missed yesterday because we were in another meeting.
Yesterday,
Truly,
I want to hold on. Let's just quash that real quick. Today was more content than yesterday, right? Today,
Okay.
contacts and smart plans. Yesterday was setup and configuration. You do want to go back and watch that, but you didn't miss a ton yesterday. It's going to prevent you from doing anything that we went over today.
Okay. Okay.
You're good.
How do I get to report?
Right here on the
know
left.
I've done it there before, but I don't, I can't seem to find it right now. So where do I go?
So under your widgets on the left-hand side, there's the word report.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right
I'm
there.
sorry. I'm sorry. That's
No,
simple.
no. Look, if you
Got it.
don't ask, you don't know, right?
Right, got it. Okay.
Look, like we said yesterday, there's nothing complicated here. What's complicated is that it does so much, so it's overwhelming. Not hard, it's just a lot to remember. And that reminds me, let me share one more thing with you guys. And I don't know if I gave this to you yesterday. Did I give you answers.kw.com yesterday?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, well, it's important to remind you, answers.kw.com. So I want you to think of answers.kw.com as Google, right? It's Google for command. That's what it is. Put it in chat there. You can search by any topic. Right? If you go and just go into command right here, it's broken everything down by settings, contacts, designs, smart plans, opportunities, consumer designs. Or you can just search for a topic. Like if I say, I need help with my import. Search for the word import, and it's going to bring up help articles, right? Import contacts in the command. Import contacts in the Steam. Getting started with API Nation, which is what I just showed you. So always lean on asking questions and self-advocate for yourself first, right? Before you go running and asking for help, because a lot of that may already be at your fingertips and you're not waiting for help. You're not waiting to get a hold of me or your Market Center tech trainer. You can go into Google or into answers.kw.com and look these things up yourself and take action. You know, we've become a very like, oh gosh, I got to wait to get help. We don't. If we're proactive and we're advocates for ourselves, we can work through a lot of these things. Because it's not hard, it's just overwhelming. And I get that. And I understand that completely.
So quick question. when we're inputting our database, there's a Excel sheet that you're going to email over that we should fill out initially and then load that into Command would be
Yeah,
your
well,
suggestion instead
You
of,
got I emailed it last night, so you would have gotten it on
okay,
yesterday.
cool.
And inside of contacts, if you hit the import button, the green download template, it lives there too. It's right here. You can just download it right on your computer. But you're going to want to use Excel. Numbers is going to be a mess.
Got it. Yeah.
But yeah, then once you fill that out, then you'll drag it to upload the file here, and it'll zap all that data into Command for you. Always
That's
best to give
nice.
as much information as you can first, so you have it. Because once you've loaded contacts, you can't reload them. Right there, I can't upload. Hey, I got more information. I want to update it. That has to be done at contact by contact. Okay.
Mhm.
Can't rewrite by, oh, I've got this new data for all these 60 people. That doesn't work. That way.
Okay.
Other questions before we wrap up for today? All right. So tomorrow.
Yeah, real quick. Hi. So I can continually update or upload another file and another file and another file, right? Yeah. So if I have an open house list, I keep and I got 20, I can just upload the open house list.
100%.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, you can upload as many, as long as they don't already exist. What Command looks at is phone number and email address. If the phone number and email address already exist, it won't allow you to update that data a second time on an import. Names, obviously names vary, so it's not going to flag a name, but it will flag an email address and a phone number and not import them a second time. That's your deflector. All right, so tomorrow we are going to walk through designs and campaigns. So we're going to talk about flyers and newsletters and magazines and all that fun stuff to get your creative side out. Not my strength, but we're going to walk through it anyways. So I'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great
Have a
day.
day.